There's a lot to like about the progress Pensacola is making. After a long stretch where it seemed like our downtown was dead, recent years prove there is life in Pensacola yet. Those great ships down at the port of Pensacola mean that business is good for Buddy McCormick at Offshore Inland, which translates into good business for the port and the city. And that's good for you and I, fellow taxpayers. The sea of fans who came to a recent Wahoos game to watch two-time Masters champ Bubba Watson throw out the first pitch is progress. They came to cheer on a local boy who grew up and did good. And they watched a baseball game, grabbed something to eat and drink, spending money in a place that 10 years ago was a weedy lot full of toxic waste. That is progress, brothers and sisters, if ever I saw it. The future home of Bank of Pensacola at Main and Palafox is rising by the day, a welcome sign that investors see what Quint and Rishi Studer are doing at that intersection and what the city did with the trendy alfresco lunch spot, and they're adding their 2 cents. Downtown isn't the only place there's action. Escambia School Superintendent Malcolm Thomas says the next schools he builds will have to be an elementary and middle school near Beulah, thanks to the ever-growing presence of Navy Federal in the central part of the county. The next step, though, is to tap into what was recently described to me as the inkblot theory of growth. That is the way, I am told, Sam Walton grew Walmart, building his store every other or every 2 towns, so that the ink blots they made eventually bled together, covered more territory. The challenge now is to be sure that those pockets of progress spread and touch as many zip codes as possible. That is why the work that the Studer Institute hopes to do is so important, and why the Institute's first publication, its baseline report, will lay out the data behind the economic and social trends that are driving our area's economy, and the things that are holding it back. We can't get any further than we've come, unless the next wave of progress includes the reception hall at Brownsville Assembly of God Church on April 22nd, with all 230 chairs full. When Commissioner Luman May called a town hall meeting in his District 3, he did it at the spot where the county and the city jurisdictions bump right up against each other, where one side of that street is inextricably linked with the other. The people who came to that town hall meeting came to ask questions of their mayor, their sheriff, their school superintendent, and their county commissioner, because they care. Because they want their community to be better, to rise above its challenges, to show its children there are options for the future. But they need good tools to help them do it, including objective data that shows things as they are, and case studies that show how other communities with similar challenges face them. They don't have all the answers, and some of them may even feel like the people who do have the answers don't return their calls as quickly as the calls that come from other zip codes. They still had enough faith to show up that night and ask their questions. They came to get their answers and be counted. Folks who are willing to start what will surely be a long journey and who seem to be willing to take that journey together. You know, if the sheriff isn't buying that old trope that people are afraid to talk to the police because there are avenues that let you give information anonymously, then I'm not buying the old trope that folks in those neighborhoods don't care what becomes of where they live. I have a church reception hall full of people for my proof. Thank you so much for joining us. Please be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at @OurProgressNow, and stay tuned. We'll see you next time.